Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Netizens share real-life horror stories. At the school, netizen Michelangelo talked about how students saw a ghost covered in blood behind him when he was teaching in class, completely with sound of nails scratching against the chalkboard. He shared that they all prayed over the students who had their third eyes open, and that the ghost was screaming throughout the prayer. Several people talk about how they felt or caught a glimpse of a strange presence at their schools, thinking they were the only ones who could see or feel them. Their suspicions were later confirmed after realizing other people at school were sensing the same things. A netizen shared a scary story that was far more realistic, and talked about how their high school had a teacher who was pedophile. What is scarier than a living, breathing monster? Twitter user Tautatamday said, "Not happened to me, but it was in a high school when I realized we had a pedo teacher. He was very subtle with it though, and he left, so I don't know if he was reprimanded. He might be lurking around corridors of another school." Alam ko mumu story dapat, pero what's scarier than a living, breathing monster? Of course, scary stories at school would be incomplete without occasional jokes about being delayed and held back with a deceased loved one. Those who've been visited by the deceased loved ones says their friends and family who pass away show up in their dreams. Jonadit Dargantes talked about how she missed her lolo and kept a photo of him in her phone, asking him to only visit her dreams. "Duwag ako sa ganyan. I get easily scared by encounters like that," she said. Vin Elijah shared that while his mother visited him many times in his dreams, the last time she visited him was slightly different. He was the only person awake at his house at around 1 a.m. when he smelled freshly brewed coffee with ginger, only for him to look around the house and find nothing. Coffee mixed with ginger was my mom's favorite, and she's the only one in our family who makes that kind of coffee. The aroma was so strong, like there was really a freshly brewed coffee, but there is none, he said. Netizens also joke how deceased loved ones make an effort to make their presence felt, but how living people who owe them money do not. At home, netizen J.A. Medina talked about how the noises he made from the things he did in the morning would repeat at night, even if he was the only one in his apartment. Philip John Betita recalled the time he lived with his auntie in the Middle East, and he saw a figure of a man in a white shirt and jeans sitting down in a particular spot in the house. Nung kinuwento ko sa auntie ko, bigla siyang nagsabi na huwag kang magbiro with a worried look. Then she said na may nagpakamatay sa bahay, palaging nakaupo doon sa spot at palaging nakaputing shirt at maong, he said. When I told auntie about it, she told me, "You shouldn't joke around like that with a worried look." Then she said someone committed suicide at the house and always sat on the same spot wearing a white shirt and jeans. Others may joke about their responsibilities such as chores and unpaid bills, or their parents disciplining and criticizing them. At work, other netizens share darker, more specific stories. Jerome M. Reyes talked about how their office janitor is always at the first to come in and around 6 a.m. But one day, the janitor came in to see their boss in front of his computer. The janitor greeted their boss, "Hello," only for him not to respond. A few hours later, it was confirmed that their boss had died in a heart attack in the office. Netizens also talk about spending their salaries too quickly and catching their co-workers skipping work for cheating in public. As a sharing spooky stories that happen in public, netizens were quick to poke fun about the mundane, scary thing that happened to them in everyday life. Netizen shared a story about taking public transportation and forgetting to bring their earphones or sticking really close to another passenger with body odor. Others talk about getting robbed regardless of the time. Lastly, netizens joke about con events and certain elected public officials. What